If that moment had been just 1 second later, just one heartbeat of hesitation, he wouldn't be the Hollywood action icon you know today. He wouldn't be a star. He might have been just another face lost in the cold, gray streets of London, forgotten by time and circumstance. We see Jason Statham today in high-octane films, surrounded by Ferraris, custom-tailored suits, and an aura of untouchable confidence. But here is the brutal truth. The glitz and glamour are just a mask. Behind that screen persona lies a life defined by grinding poverty, street-level survival, and a series of failures so crushing they would have broken most men. This isn't just another rags-to-riches biography. This is a psychological masterclass in how to engineer your own survival when the entire world is screaming, no. Think about it for a second. Before the cameras, before the red carpets, he was standing on street corners, peddling counterfeit jewelry and perfumes, doing whatever it took to keep his stomach from growling at night. Why does that matter? Because the lessons he learned while hustling on the street were more valuable than any prestigious drama school in Los Angeles. When you're trying to sell a fake watch to a skeptic who has no intention of buying, you aren't just selling, you're learning the raw, unfiltered psychology of human behavior. You're learning exactly when people fear, when they lie, and when they are vulnerable. Most people think success is a straight line. They think it's about talent, luck, or having the right connections. But look at Statham. He didn't have any of those. He had something else. Survival intelligence. He learned that in the real world, you don't get handed a seat at the table. You have to fight for it, crawl for it, and sometimes, break the table entirely. Every time he faced rejection on the street, he wasn't just losing a sale, he was gathering data on how to control a room. And that's exactly what he does on screen. Have you ever noticed how he commands a scene without saying a word? That's not acting. That's the residue of a man who had to survive in an environment where silence was the only defense. But the plot thickens. Many people try to copy his style, but they miss the core of his engine, the ability to remain calm in the eye of the storm. Before he was an actor, he was a world-class diver. Picture this. You're deep underwater, the pressure is crushing your lungs, and your oxygen is running out. Most people would panic, start thrashing, and seal their fate. But not him. He learned that thrashing is death. You have to be still. You have to conserve energy. You have to control your heart rate. He carried that exact same stillness from the depths of the ocean to the sets of his biggest films. When the world is collapsing around you, when your business is failing or your personal life is in shambles, do you thrash, or do you find that center of gravity? The most dangerous people on this planet aren't the ones with the loudest voices, they're the ones who are completely comfortable with being uncomfortable. Statham spent his 20s in the high-stakes world of professional athletics, surrounded by people who were bigger, stronger, and better funded. He learned quickly that you don't beat the big fish by trying to be them. You beat them by outworking them, outthinking them, and waiting for the exact moment they underestimate you. He turned his lack of formal training into his greatest weapon, using his raw edge to cut through the polished, fake world of show business. Let's talk about that moment of decision. The moment where he chose to pivot. Most of us are terrified of the unknown. We cling to our dead-end jobs or toxic situations because they feel safe, even when they're killing our spirit. Statham chose to jump into the void. He chose a path with zero guarantees. Why? Because he knew that comfort is the enemy of greatness. He understood that if he stayed in that zone of good enough, he would never reach his potential. Are you currently holding on to something that no longer serves you just because you're scared of the transition? Think about the way he handles pressure. He doesn't complain. He doesn't look for a scapegoat. He takes the hit, processes the lesson, and pivots instantly. That is the definition of grit. In today's world, intelligence is common, but grit, that's a rarity. Anyone can have a dream, but very few people have the stomach to handle the reality of building that dream. Statham's life is a manual on how to weaponize your past. All those nights he was ignored, all those rejections, all those times he was told he wasn't Hollywood material, he didn't let them define him. He turned them into fuel. He made it his mission to show them all they were wrong. If you're sitting there feeling like there's no way forward, I want you to look at his trajectory. He didn't hit the jackpot at 20. He didn't start acting until he was nearing 30. That means while everyone else was busy trying to find themselves, he was out in the real world building a foundation of character that would hold up under the weight of global fame. He had a philosophy that he lives by to this day: nobody is going to give it to you. It sounds harsh, but it's the most liberating thought you'll ever have. Once you accept that no one is coming to save you, you finally stop waiting and start becoming your own savior. Why does he resonate so deeply with us? Because we see the real in him. We see a man who hasn't forgotten what it feels like to have nothing. We see someone who uses his success not to escape his past, but to sharpen his future. He teaches us that even when you have everything, you have to keep the mindset of a person who has to fight for their next meal. That keeps you sharp. That keeps you dangerous. That keeps you relevant. Now, I want you to look at your own life. What is the one thing you are currently avoiding because it's too difficult? What conversation are you dodging? What habit are you refusing to drop? That right there is your ceiling. If you want to break through it, you have to adopt the Statham approach. Stop looking for the easy way out and start looking for the strategic way through. You have to start seeing obstacles as puzzles, not walls. Every time you solve a puzzle, you get a little bit stronger, a little bit more capable, and a little bit more dangerous. This isn't just about movies. This is about the survival intelligence required to win in the 21st century. The world is becoming more ruthless, more competitive, and faster. If you aren't evolving, you're becoming obsolete. You have to be the person who stays calm when the economy shifts, when your industry changes, or when your plans fall apart. Can you keep your cool? Can you recalculate? Can you strike when the timing is perfect? That's the difference between the people who struggle their whole lives and the ones who dictate their own reality. The lesson he extracted from his own failures is simple: failure is just a correction of your trajectory. When you fail, you aren't losing, you're being taught a lesson that you needed to learn before you could handle the next level. If Statham had succeeded in his first attempt at everything, he wouldn't have developed the grit that made him an icon. His failures were the tempering process that turned him into the steel that he is today. You are currently in the middle of your own tempering process. Don't waste it. So, here is the challenge. If you want to know the hard lessons from Jason Statham's life, you have to apply them. You have to stop being a spectator in your own story and start being the lead. Stop waiting for the perfect script. Start writing it. Take that leap you've been scared of. Start that project you've been procrastinating on. Look at your problems with a cold, calculated eye and start finding the cracks in the wall. You are far more capable than you realize. You've just been playing by the wrong rules. If this video has sparked something in you, if you feel that internal shift where you realize that your potential is entirely in your hands, then I want you to commit. Don't just watch and forget. Act. Go to the comments right now and write, "I am taking the lead." That one act of declaration is your first step. And if you want more deep dive analyses on how the world's most powerful figures built their empires, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We aren't just talking about success here, we're dissecting the mechanics of it. You have the power to turn your adversity into your greatest asset. It's time to stop surviving and start conquering. Keep your eyes open, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.